The X3C has been one of the best things that's happened to me in my game. My name is Scottie Pearman. I compete on the World Long Drive Tour, where I'm currently ranked #2 in the world. I got my start in 2019 into long drive by chance, really, showing up for a friend who asked me to come play in an adult league baseball here in town, a game, just a regular game. They only had 8 players. I guess my phone number was the only one he could remember, and he called me and asked me if I could show up and just be the 9th so they could play. And it was the best thing that I ever did. It was showing up to that baseball game, because needless to say, by doing so, changed my entire life, the whole trajectory of it. By doing so, I met another competitor that was playing on the team that I was on. He just won a world championship in the senior division that year, and I tried to become friends with him after I realized what he does, because at the time I was playing golf recreationally, nothing serious, but I just loved hitting the golf ball really far. And when I knew he was a long driver, I had to know more. And by the end of the game, I sent my phone number to him. I said, next time you go to the driving range, I want to go. I want to go hit balls with you just to see what it's like and compare, more or less, to see, it's a man thing. It's a macho thing. And so he called me. We went to a range here in town. I hit some balls with him, and after we got done, he insisted. He said, I think you should really consider trying to compete. I think you could do this if you put forth the effort and got the right equipment and everything. So that night I went on eBay, typed in Callaway long driver, and saw one club on there that was right in my price range. At the time I was a single man living check to check, and I couldn't afford very much stuff for golf. It's just, I had to use what I could. The club was $150. I had no idea if it was going to work, if it was what the specs were. I just knew it was longer, lower lofted, and it had an LDA stamp on the face, so I knew it was official. I bought that club. A few months later, I took it to my first event in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I competed and had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't know if there was going to be 3 people or 3,000. I just wanted to go hit. And I went to my first event and won that event and every event for 2 years after that. Never lost a tournament, including 2 world championships. I'm the only ever 2-time amateur world long drive champion. And that's, needless to say, how my career got started, and it quickly snowballed into something that I never could have imagined, and that's into an awesome career that it is. My swing has changed very dramatically since 2019. One of my videos showed up on my memories. We all get memories on our Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And I saw myself swing from the month before my first competition, and I almost had to guess who it was. I didn't even recognize it. It was so different. When I first started, and when I was playing golf regularly before I started doing long drive, my swing was very steep, and it was a pickup and put down, and there was not very much rotation. So when you see me swing in the past, it was almost as if from my waist down I was paralyzed, and I was just kind of standing there and overpowering it with my upper body. And so that was the biggest the hurdle I had to overcome, was learning to hit a long drive club. That extra 3 inches of a shaft doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're changing the angles of how far you stand from a ball, the timing for turning, it threw a whole wrench in it. So it was quite an adjustment to learn how to get more laterally and swing more rotationally with it, instead of just picking it up and putting it down. So that was my biggest hurdle, and I'm so glad that I've learned and had the experience, because I think there's something good in overcoming some obstacles to get where you're at, and I sure enough did that in my golf swing for sure. The X3C has been one of the best things that's happened to me in my game. We are very data-prone players in this sport. I am a rare breed with the type of swing that I have a real love-hate with launch monitors in general. Most don't fully work. They miss parameters that are very important for indoor hitting, and especially in the wintertime when you're trying to make changes or focus in on certain things. If you're not getting full data or accurate data, then it's just as bad as not practicing, because you don't know what's true anymore or what's real. And so I know every time that I plug up the X3C and hit on it, it picks up every time, and I've not ever been able to say that about any other monitor. The FlightScope has been one of the easiest things that I could have used for my practice, and now I don't go a day without using it. If I'm swinging a golf club, I have the FlightScope behind me, measuring all the data, especially the parameters I look after. There are certain ones for me that stick out more to me than others. Launch angle for me, I'm the highest ball flight on earth, probably by far, probably ever that's been hit. One ball I hit in the World Championship apexed, I think at like 345 feet. That's like 3 times the normal height. So launch for me is very important. If I get to launching it too high, then my descent angle is wrong. Certain grids, you know, it is all carry, so that does work both ways if you're trying to maximize carry distance. So spin, launch, of course ball speed is the ultimate measure when we do our sport. Club speed, you know, I need to see a baseline if I'm getting faster or slower, so that helps. Smash factor, of course, is very important, because that is how efficient that you're hitting a ball and maximizing all the ball speed and club speed that you have. Low point for me is I'm probably one of the only people that really look at low point in a serious manner. Low point for me is very, very important, because when I'm getting going and fully going as hard as I can, my low point can go as far as 14 inches behind the ball. And so if you imagine dipping out and your club dropping 14 inches behind the ball, then that club has to go up at a certain rate. My tee height has to be a certain thing. My angle of attack then changes. It's a domino effect of other things. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm looking at everything. I have to look at it from a 30,000 feet view. Probably the number one question I always get asked by anybody is, how far do you hit it? And that I don't know how to answer. It's really open-ended. And the first thing I'll say is, well, where are we at? And you can see their eyes kind of light up, like, well, I don't know what you mean. We're here. And I was like, well, here is different than Denver. You know, North Carolina, it's 900 feet above sea level. If you go to Denver, it's a mile high. And so things change. You have to learn how to maximize the ball to get it to go as far as it can. Without accurate measurements and spin, launch angle, then I don't know how to properly practice. My goal for the 2026 season would be to win the World Championship, to win a belt at a professional level with the best hitters on earth at the time. That is the goal. I've accomplished everything that I set forth when I started in 2019. I set very realistic goals, obtainable goals at that time, was to get on the TV, and I've accomplished that. I was on the TV 4 times last year, a couple of times before that in the other seasons, but I accomplished everything I want but winning that belt. And that is the goal for 2026. It's belt or bust.